Ooh. Okay. Sounds good. Let's let them all in. Pop out the chat as usual. In fact, I might keep the chat in the top this time. Can I... There we go. Let me try that. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. Okay, hello. So we're going to be playing some Train Simulator today. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're all doing well. Let me just turn that off. And, oh, there's something else as well that I needed. Let me just pop that up there. Okay. So, it is Saturday, which means it's time for a new series. This is Train Sim Saturday. It's going to be a new thing that I'm going to be doing on Saturdays going forwards. And yeah, that's what we're going to be playing today. We're going to be playing Train Simulator. This is the first time I've ever streamed Train Simulator, so fair warning before we begin, I don't know how well this game's going to respond to being streamed. For those of you who don't know, Train Simulator is notoriously badly optimized, so it might run like absolute crap. Who knows? We'll see. It's going to be a learning experience, so we'll just see how it goes. But yes, we are going to be playing Train Sim. Sorry, we're starting a little bit later today. The stream might run over a bit at the end to make up for that. I do apologise that we're half an hour late, but we're here now. I've already picked out the drives that we're going to do today. I've picked out 3 scenarios that are all quite close to home for me personally. Obviously, I live in South Yorkshire, so we've got a few scenarios in the sort of Yorkshire area. The first scenario we're going to be doing is on the Midland Main Line. We're going to be doing an express service set in 2002. Then we're going to be doing a passenger service from Leeds to Knaresborough in 2008, and finally we're going to be doing a freight service from Tees N.Y to York in 2022. So we got a good mix of different routes, a mix of different rolling stock, and different eras and stuff like that. So it should be a nice round mix of stuff. All the scenarios are about an hour long, so we should be an hour on each one. And we'll just dive right into it. Let's go. So you may also notice that I'm sitting in a bit of a strange position compared to where I normally sit for my streams. This game is very fussy about which monitor you play it on. I cannot for the life of me get this game to run on my second monitor, so I have to play it on the big monitor. But the game is also very temperamental about using external controllers. So I couldn't get it to work with an external controller either, which means I have to play it with my keyboard and mouse, which are here. So I have to sort of sit in between my 2 halves of the desk, so I can control it from here, but the screen's there. It's literally, there's nothing I can do. Train Simulator is a very fussy game. It doesn't like to be told what to do. But we should manage. Hopefully you can see and hear me alright, and hopefully you can see and hear the game alright as well. We're going to dive into our first scenario, which is on the Just Trains Midland Main Line. And it's for the HST, so we'll just scroll down a bit. Happy to see you on a Saturday. How are you today, Sir Stormtrooper? I'm very well, thank you very much. Not had the best of days, to be honest. Well, today's been alright. Yesterday was not the best of days, but I'm okay now. I don't want to get into it, but had a little bit of sad news yesterday. But I wanted to, you know, keep streaming as normal because I don't want to, you know, let it get to me or anything like that. So we're just gonna soldier on, and we're gonna play one of my favourite games, and I'll feel better. Okay, so here's the first scenario that we're doing. It's, again, the high-speed train in the Midland Main Line green. This is one of my favourite liveries of all time. I love the Midland Main Line green. And it's from London St Pancras to Leeds. We're not actually doing the whole drive, of course. We're only doing the section from Nottingham to Sheffield. But I'm going to get that started right now. So this scenario did actually start in Leicester, but it would have taken an hour and a half to drive from Leicester all the way to Sheffield. So I came on this morning and I did the first portion of it, and I drove to Nottingham off camera. So we're going to be starting in Nottingham and driving to Sheffield. Then the second scenario, like I say, is going to be Leeds to Knaresborough, and the third scenario is going to be Newcastle, well, Tees Yard to York. It might take a while for the game to actually load up, fair warning on that. So yeah, I wanted to, like I say, I wanted to make sure that we had a sort of decent mix of routes, a decent mix of scenarios. Originally, my idea was I was going to pick stuff from across the UK. I was going to do like one scenario in England, one in Wales, and one in Scotland. But instead of that, I decided, because it's the first stream, I want to do stuff that's more local to me. So all of the routes that we're going to be driving today, I've travelled on in real life. As you know, being from Doncaster, I've been, you know, sort of all over Yorkshire, and specifically the three major stations that we're going to be visiting today, Sheffield, Leeds, and York, are sort of the three biggest stations in the sort of local area to me. And in terms of stations that I've actually visited in real life, I would say that Sheffield, Leeds, and York are probably the three stations that I've visited more than any other, apart from Doncaster itself, which is where I live. Okay. Anyway, there is some good news, though. Actually, by the way, let's steer away from all the doom and gloom. There is actually some good news as well, because I have finally, after people have been asking me for so long, I've finally made a video that all of you have been requesting. It's going to be going up tomorrow, and I'll let you try and figure out what it might be. But suffice to say, you know, it's been about 3.5 months, 4 months. People have been constantly asking me to make a video about this, and I've finally decided to do it, and it's going to be going out tomorrow. So if you can guess what that video is going to be, let me know. Let me know what you think. Is it about a game? It's not about a game, no. Okay, we're in. So here we are in Nottingham. Like I say, this is the Midland Main Line liveried HST. Let me know how the frame rate looks on the stream. It seems pretty smooth to me right now in-game, but do let me know if it's going well on stream. There may be a little bit of lag when we get to some larger areas, particularly Leeds. I did a quick test earlier, and Leeds especially is going to be really, really bad. But hopefully not too bad. Joe says it's very laggy. Okay, everyone's saying it's very laggy. Okay. Oh, I can't change the video settings from in-game either. I have to go back to the main menu. Okay, let me... I'll keep playing for a minute and we'll see if it clears up. But it might just be because we've only just got in, you know. Okay, it's fine, actually. People are just trying to... you may have to restart live. Okay, yeah, people are just trying to have me on. Harry says it's fine. Crystal says it's fine. Thank you very much, guys, for letting me know it is actually fine. It wouldn't be the first time that people have pretended that my stream was lagging to get me to restart it, but I'm not going to restart it because you're all telling me that it actually is fine. Okay. So anyway, like I say, we're in the Midland Mainline liveried HST here. This is one of my favourite liveries of any loco in the UK. I love the sort of mint green colour. And we are going to be driving up to Sheffield via the Erewash Valley. So we're going to be calling at Langley Mill, Alfreton, Chesterfield and Sheffield. And it should take us about an hour. Okay, I'm going to release the brakes because we're going to be ready to depart in just a second. Actually, maybe not. Any second now, doors will close. For some reason the doors on the last carriage haven't opened, but we'll see the doors close any moment. Okay, providing you've changed cabins and redistributed the ETS, you may depart. Our next station call is Langley. Let's go to Langley Mill. Off we go. I'm not sure what to do with my spare hand. This game only requires one hand to play, so my other hand's just kind of awkwardly there. Let's not speed. The horn sounds so cool, says Stormtrooper. It does. It is pretty good. Love the HST horn. So if anyone here is actually into Train Simulator and you're wondering what kind of extra content I'm playing with, obviously the route itself is by Just Trains. It's the Just Trains Midland Mainline along with the Erewash Valley extension, and the train itself, the HST, is from the Armstrong Powerhouse Valenta pack, or it might be the MTU pack, I'm not sure which, but it's one of the HST packs from Armstrong Powerhouse. Incidentally, Armstrong Powerhouse did just release the updated MTU enhancement pack yesterday, but it is £30, so I'm probably not going to be buying it just yet. Stormtrooper says, here in the Netherlands we also have trains that are yellow and blue. Yes, I'm familiar with the double-decker yellow and blue trains in the Netherlands. I wish we had more double-decker trains here in the UK. I think they're so cool. There's only ever been one double-decker train in the UK, and it wasn't very successful. It was a little EMU on the Southern Railway. But it wasn't like... It wasn't a proper double-decker. It had, like, staggered decks. It was very uncomfortable. It didn't last for, like, more than 5 years. And that was the only double-decker train that ever ran in the UK. Never again. So I am going to keep switching between camera views as we drive, by the way, because, you know, when I play this game, I don't just want to stay in cab view the whole time. I want to, you know, actually see the train in action, see the scenery and stuff like that. So I will keep periodically switching between cameras. And when we get onto a nice open bit of track, I will open the route advisor so we can actually see where we're travelling today. Thanks for following. I'm sorry I can't read your username because it does contain Cyrillic and I can't read Cyrillic, but thank you for following. It's very much appreciated. That alarm, by the way, I will try and sort of talk through this for people who aren't familiar with trains in general. I'll try and talk through what I'm doing and stuff like that. That alarm that just sounded is called the AWS, the Advanced Warning System. So as we approach signals, if the signal is yellow or red, that alarm will go off, and you have to manually reset it to acknowledge that you've seen the signal at orange or yellow, or the yellow or red. Stormtrooper says, my favourite train is Thalys. I'm not sure what train that is, but cool. Okay, so once we get to, you can see on the bottom of my screen, by the way, it shows you the speed limits. So currently the speed limit's 40, but it's about to drop to 35. And a little bit further along it goes up to 80. Once we get past the 80 sign, then we can really open up, and then I can show you the map advisor. When are you next live? After today, says EJ. Next live stream is going to be on Monday, where we'll be doing some Minecraft. Stormtrooper said, Eurostar. Oh, I like the Eurostar as well. I've never actually been on the Eurostar. But I do like the Eurostar. Okay, I'm going to open up now. And while we're speeding up, let's have a look on the map. So this is us right now. We've just left Nottingham, which is down there on the right. We're going all the way to Sheffield, which is way up here. Long way to go. So again, we're down here where this little dark blue bit is. We're going all the way up to the very top here, Sheffield. We'll be calling it Langley Mill, Alfretton and Chesterfield along the way. And we're going to be at Langley Mill in about 10 minutes. Does the journey take as long as it would in real life? Yes, it does, EJ. So this game is very accurate in terms of distances and stuff like that. The scale is very much preserved. Obviously, in a game like Euro Truck, the map is a lot smaller than real life, but in Train Simulator, everything is full size, so this is the actual real life size and time that it would take to complete this drive IRL. So, like I say, we've got 3 scenarios today, and all 3 of them are going to take about an hour. Oh, that's cool, makes it more realistic, said EJ. Yeah, it is a very realistic simulator. I would say, compared to Euro Truck and Farming Sim, which are slightly less focused on the realism and more focused on, well, other things, this Train Simulator really is focused on the accuracy and realism, and I would say it is a very realistic simulator. Oh. Game froze for a second there. That bell, by the way, that you can hear ringing. So what I was saying earlier about the AWS, the Advanced Warning System, when we go past a yellow, when we approach a yellow signal, it will sound an alarm. When we go past a green signal, it will ring that bell to let us know that the signal ahead is green. Oh, we're speeding. Whoops. I wasn't paying attention to the speedometer there. We just got up to 81 for a second there. Now, we don't need to worry about speeding too much because we won't actually be penalised for it in this game mode. There's a few different game modes. So there's career mode, and there's just like just free roam sort of mode. In career mode, you do have to actually be very careful because you will lose points for speeding and, you know, passing signals and stuff like that. But on this one, you don't have to worry about stuff like that. So if we occasionally go over the speed limit just a tiny bit, it won't make too much a difference. I will try to avoid doing that, obviously, but it can happen. So we've got to slow right down now. There's a 30 sign up ahead. You can also see on the bottom the gradient of the track that we're on. So currently we are heading downhill quite steeply. We're at a gradient of 1 in 238, which for a train is very steep. And the gradient will affect how the train behaves, obviously. If we're going downhill, the brakes are a little bit less effective, and if we're going uphill, then the accelerator is a bit less effective. I don't think we're actually going to get down to 30 before we pass this sign. Oh, maybe. Yeah, oh, I think we're going to go a bit too... We're going to pass 30, yep, down into the 20s. So I think we're approaching a junction, which is why, yep, junction coming up there on the left, that's why the speed limit's dropped so sharply. And yet we still managed to go over it just a bit there. Okay, I'm just going to detach the camera for a second. Some pretty cool camera controls in this game as well. You can have quite a lot of different angles. Okay, so once we're across this junction, we can get back up to 80 again. Oh, by the way, has anyone guessed what the video is yet? Keep the guesses coming. Yo, says Ob, how are you doing today? Okay, we're about 4 minutes away from Langley Mill. We're going to have to get ready to slow down for the station. This is where the real the real test of skill comes in, because some of these stations have quite short platforms, and we have to try not to overshoot. We're not stopping at this one, don't worry. Okay, start to bring it down a bit. We need to be doing 65 for this next sign. There we go. Oh, there we go. Let me just have a quick look. How far are we? Okay, it's just round the next bend. Now, am I going to get back up to 80? I don't think we'll get back up to 80 before we reach the station. If I can get... We'll get up to 70, and then it'll probably be time to start slowing down for the approach to Langley Mill. How fast is the train going? So we're currently doing 66. You might not be able to see it very well, but in the sort of middle lower left of the screen, it shows you the speedometer, which is in miles per hour. I'm just going to do a very quick save as we prepare to slow down for Langley Mill. Yeah, I don't know how clearly you can see the UI on stream, because obviously it is quite small, especially, you know, being condensed onto a very small phone screen. In fact, let me just have a quick look. Oh, unfortunately there's no way to change the size of the hood. That would have been quite helpful if I could make the UI a bit bigger. But I cannot. Sorry. Okay, here's the station. Slow her down. Oh, it's very short. We're not actually going to get the whole train onto the platform anyway. We might not even stop in time, to be honest. Look at how short this platform is. Yeah, definitely not a chance that we're going to get the whole train on. Okay. That'll have to do. Unfortunately, the platform's only long enough for 4 cars, and our train is 9 cars, so... shame. It does happen, though. There are, you know, I've been on trains that are too long for the platform, and they just don't open the doors in, like, the rear cars. Okay. Well, that was a quick stop. Off we go again. Do a little save. And the next station is Alfreton, which we're going to be at in 8 minutes. Sorry, I forgot how to count for a second there. Off we go. There's something coming the other way. I think it's a freight service. It is. Do you know where Denby is? Says Danny Taylor. Yes, I do know where Denby is. So that one was from Leeds to Southampton Freightliner Terminal. Yes, I'm very familiar with Denby. Like I say, I do live in the Doncaster area, so I'm familiar with those areas. Okay, so next up is Alfreton, which is quite close actually. There's a couple of junctions that we're going to pass along the way. I think this is a heritage railway, actually, that comes off to the left there. And then that junction goes up towards Worksop, I believe. I used to work in Worksop, believe it or not. I didn't get there on the train, though. I had to bus it every day. Not very fun. It's over an hour by bus from where I live, so that didn't last very long. It would have taken even longer by train, though, because there's no trains from Doncaster to Worksop. I'd have to go Doncaster to Retford, and then Retford to Worksop, and that'd take longer than an hour. And we can't even go to Worksop in-game, because there are no routes that add it in, unfortunately. There are plenty of routes that add Doncaster in. We're not going to be going to Doncaster today, unfortunately, but there are a few Doncaster-based routes. Was it in a double-decker bus, said Stormtrooper? Yes, it was. Double-deckers, very common here in the UK. There's a train on the right there, but it doesn't appear to be moving. Thanks for following Saberlinks and NoisyBoy54. Oh, that one's an EWS. Lovely. Where's that going? Northampton to Oldwalk. So on the left there is the Midland Railway, I want to say it's called. It's a preserved, like, heritage railway on the left. Unfortunately not modelled in-game, so we can't visit it. Thanks for following Zeno. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get up to full speed on this one. Because of the line that we're driving on, we're not really going to get a chance to open it up to 125, which obviously is the top speed of the HST. Because we're technically not on the main line right now, we're on a sort of branch line. I'll show you in a minute. I'll open up the map in just a sec. Okay, let me just accelerate a little bit there. Yeah, so on the map here, this line on the left is the actual Midland main line. The line that we're on right now to the right is called the Erewash Valley line, which is not the main line. It's sort of a tributary to the main line, but because it's not up to mainline standards, we won't actually be able to get up to full speed on this line. We might be able to get up to full speed past Chesterfield. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember if there is a 125 section between Chesterfield and Sheffield, but I think there might be, so we could still get up to full speed a little bit further down the line. Was it the 19 or 19A, says Danny. As a matter of fact, it was the 22. The 22 from Doncaster to Worksop. That's the bus that I used to catch to work when I worked in Worksop. An entire hour each way. Very expensive as well. Buses in this country are a bit of a joke in terms of the price. And they've just ended the £2 cap, haven't they? They've just announced that the £2 cap's going away, so we're going to have to pay even more for buses very soon. Okay, I slowed down a little bit early there, but this is Alfreton that we're approaching now. We are going up quite a steep hill at the minute. That's probably why we slowed down a lot quicker than expected. Just crawling into the station now. This station is a bit longer, but I'm still not sure if we will get the whole train in here. Stormtrooper says, my transport is my bicycle. Honestly, that's so cool. I'm aware the Netherlands is very bicycle friendly. I really wish that we had the level of bike infrastructure here in the UK that you have over there. Because I love cycling as well. I've always been really into cycling. I don't have a bike at the minute. I do have a unicycle, as you might recall if you've been watching me for a while, and I do intend to eventually use that unicycle to get around. But at the minute, I still can't ride it just yet. I'm still learning. But yeah, I love cycling. I've always enjoyed a nice long bike ride, just for fun as well. I love cycling just as an activity. Good exercise, you know, and you can get a lot further on a bike than you can walking. I do like a nice walk as well, but, you know, if I went out on a 2-hour walk, I wouldn't get anywhere near as far as on a 2-hour bike ride. And like I say, I do wish that there was a bit more cycling infrastructure here in the UK. I do live in quite a small village, so I don't really have to worry too much about traffic and stuff like that nearby. But if I wanted to go into town on my bike, obviously very built-up area, there's not a lot of cycle lanes and stuff like that. And I do wish there were a bit more. I wish the UK was a bit more cycle-friendly. Okay, we had a quick stop off... Oh, what's that? Ooh, 37 there. So we had a quick stop off at Alfreton, and the train actually fit onto the platform this time, which is nice. Next station then is going to be Chesterfield, which is a little bit further away. It's all the way up here. It's going to take us 10 minutes to get there. And then after that it will be a direct route to Sheffield. If it's close, I take my bike. If it's far, I take the train, says Stormtrooper. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of the same. Obviously, like I say, I don't have a bike at the minute. But I will take the train if I can. I mean, not just because I love trains, but, you know, I do sort of prefer to take the train over the bus. If it's, like, for example, Sheffield. Doncaster to Sheffield. It's not very far. You can get a bus that goes from Doncaster all the way to Sheffield, but I definitely prefer, when I go to Sheffield, I prefer to go by train, because it's a lot faster, and it's about the same price for that sort of distance. So I do always prefer the train over the bus, if it's possible. Obviously, for really short journeys that aren't long enough to be taken on the train, I'll take the bus. But I'm very much, I very much prefer the train. My sister lives in Wales, which obviously is quite far away from Doncaster. She only moved there quite recently, but we've been talking about I've been talking about going down to visit her in the new year, and she keeps trying to convince me to go on the coach. She keeps saying, just get the coach, Saul. It only costs 20 quid on the coach. It's really cheap. But my attitude is, yeah, but it takes like 8 hours to get to Wales on a coach. Whereas if I got the train, yes, it's a lot more expensive on the train, but it's also not going to take me 8 hours. So when I do eventually go to visit her, I'm probably going to go on the train, even though it's more expensive, because it's quicker. Could you ever see yourself driving a car? No. Honestly, I've never been interested in getting a car. I've just never wanted to drive. To me, it's always felt like something that I don't really need to do. It's very expensive compared to public transport, and I don't really have any need to drive. I live in a place with like pretty good transport links, so if I need to get anywhere, I can pretty much always get there on public transport. And I've always just had the attitude of, you know, if I were to get a car, you have to pay for the car, You have to pay for car insurance, you have to pay for MOT every year, you have to pay for fuel, you have to pay road tax. You know, there's so many costs associated with it. And I don't really need to drive, so I sort of have the attitude of why would I bother doing it when it's really expensive and I don't need to. If it was cheaper, or if I had enough money that it wasn't a financial concern, then it might be something that I'd check out. But I've just never really felt like it was worth doing, to be quite honest with you. Who are you visiting, says Henry? My sister. I was just saying, my sister lives in Wales. I live in Doncaster, so it's a very long way away. And yeah, when I go down to visit her, she wants me to get the coach because it will be cheaper. I want to get the train because it will be faster. We'll see what happens. I can't see myself being sat on a coach for 8 hours, to be honest with you. I would much rather pay the extra and take the train. But we'll see. We'll see. I also just like trains. Again, I'm playing Train Simulator right now. You can probably guess. It could cost 5 times as much on the train, and I'd still pay it because I just like going on trains. And it is still cheaper than getting a car. Sorry, I got an itchy ear. Henry says, I see driving is mega expensive. I sometimes question whether I drive enough for what I'm paying. That's exactly my concern. Like, I wouldn't want to get a car and then never use it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to spend all that money to get a car and then only ever use it like once a week because I don't really need to go anywhere. I think a car is worth it. I'm not saying I'm not anti-car. I'm not like no one should be allowed a car or anything like that. But I do think that not everyone needs a car. If you need one, then you need one. If you don't need one, then you don't. And I've just never felt that I really need one. It's still itching. I've got an itch like inside my ear. Sorry. That's a little bit gross of me to be sticking my finger in my ear on stream, but it itches. Okay, we have... Oh, I've accidentally detached the camera from... we have officially re-entered the Midland Main Line. So this is Alfretton Junction. The line on the left there is the Midland Main Line. The line on the right, where we've just come from, is the Erewash Valley Line. We are now on the Midland Main Line proper, which means after Chesterfield we should be able to finally get up to full speed. Henry says, no buses or trains around me, so sadly it's a necessity. The cost hurts though. I get that. I'm sorry to hear that, Henry. But again, like I say, if you're in that situation where there isn't good public transport and you really don't have any choice but to drive, then you kind of got to do it. It's a shame, but it is what it is, Thanks for all the gifts, by the way. We've had a few from Zeno and a few from Tessa Tickle. I love that username. Every time I see a comment from you, Tessa, it does get a bit of a chuckle out of me, I must admit. But thank you for the gifts. Thank you as well, Henry. It's very kind of you. Okay, so we are approaching Chesterfield. We're about to cross over onto the left-hand line. So right now, we're still technically on the Erewash Valley tracks. The two tracks to the left of me here are the up and down for the Midland Main Line. We are going to cross back over to there in just a minute at this junction that's coming up, which is why the speed's about to drop down to 70. Okay, here we go. When are you playing Train Sim, says Kian Power. I'm playing Train Sim right now, Kian. That's the game you're seeing right now is in fact Train Simulator. I'm sorry, I'm looking over there, but the camera's over there. Okay, so now we're crossing over to the Midland Main Line. Down. Sorry. This is the down line. So for those of you, again, who are not familiar with trains here in the UK, most lines are named based on the direction of London. So obviously all the major main lines, the East Coast Main Line, West Coast Main Line, Midland Main Line, Great Western, Chiltern, etc., etc. I'm not... Hold on a minute. All of the main lines in the UK like start from London and radiate outwards, and because of that, the directions of the tracks and the platforms and stuff like that are normally named in that manner. So the track going towards London is always called the up line, and the track away from London is always called the down line. So right now we're heading away from London, so we're on the down line. That train that's just leaving there is on the up line. Just a little fun fact for you there. Although that train's not actually going to London, it is going to Bristol Temple Meads, I believe. It's cross-country. It is. So that's Virgin Trains cross-country from Edinburgh to Bristol Temple Meads. I've been on that train many times because I used to live in Bath when I was at university, and to get there I used to go from Doncaster to Bristol Temple Meads via that exact train. It's weird because there isn't actually a direct train from Bristol to Doncaster, but there is a train from Doncaster to Bristol. And it's because the cross-country route, when it goes from Edinburgh to Bristol, it goes via Doncaster on the way down, but on the way up, it goes via Leeds instead. So it's weird. Like I say, you can get a train from Doncaster straight to Bristol, but if you want to get from Bristol to Doncaster, you have to take 2 trains. It'd be like that. Henry says, I'm near Bath. It's strange how Bath Station's only 2 platforms. Yeah, it is quite a small station for quite a large city. There did used to be a few more stations in Bath, though, obviously, back in the pre-beaching days. And one of my favourite things about... they still have Oldfield Park. Yes, Oldfield Park is still in Bath, yes. Yeah, one of my favourite things about Bath Spa and about the stations on the Great Western Main Line in general is that the platforms are very far apart, and there is a reason for that. So if you're ever at Bath Spa, for example, if you're ever at Bath Spa Station, you'll notice that there's Platform 1, there's Platform 2, and there's the 2 tracks, but there's a huge gap in between the tracks. And the reason that there's a huge gap is because the Great Western Main Line used to be broad gauge. So all railways in the UK today obviously are standard gauge, where the tracks are spaced 1.5 metres apart. Like each rail is 1.5 metres apart. But before standardisation, like many years ago, the Great Western Main Line was built to broad gauge. So the rails were like much further apart, which made the actual tracks like a lot wider. And it was the only major railway in the UK that didn't use standard gauge. Like, they were adamant about it for years. There were trains from the rest of the country could not go anywhere on the Great Western Railway because it was a different track gauge. But eventually, obviously, the railways got standardised, and all railways now use the same track gauge. But it means that as a result of that, a lot of stations in the Great Western area, there's just like this massive gap between the platforms because the track itself used to be wider. Again, I just little bit more railway history for you there. Fair warning, by the way, I know we're already an hour into the stream, but fair warning, I will be sharing a lot of useless railway trivia with you through the stream, because this is like my special interest. So, you know, I mean, if you're watching a train sim stream, you kind of got to expect this kind of thing. Evening Saul, evening Danny, how are you doing? Okay, so, just to recap, by the way, we are now on our way to Sheffield, which is the final station on the route. And I really do hope that we are going to get a 120 section at some point, but I'm not sure. Jake says, boring. Feel free to keep scrolling, Jake, if you are bored. TikTok is a very big place, and there are many, many other people who are live streaming right now. You don't have to watch my stream specifically. Other streams are available. How's it going, says AJ Gaming. It's going well. I'm pretty good today. Jake says, you're boring, not the game. Once again, Jake, if I'm boring, don't watch me. Like, I genuinely, I will never understand people who join a live stream just to say you're boring. Like, nobody's forcing you to be here. You're not handcuffed to a chair. You're not handcuffed to a chair with a screen in front of your face being forced at gunpoint to watch the live stream. You can just go and watch something else if you don't like it. But if you want to stay and give me the extra view, then feel free. Just don't call me boring when you can just not be here if you don't want to be. Okay, this is Driffield, we're just passing through now. You're not boring, Saul, you're cool. Thank you, Stormtrooper, that's very kind of you. I think boring is very subjective, though. At the end of the day, you know, different people have different interests, and different people will find different things interesting, and different people will find different things boring, you know? If you were to talk to me about football, I would be pretty bored because I don't like football. If I talk to a football fan about trains, they might be bored because they're not interested in trains. That's life, you know. People are interested in different things. What one person finds boring, another person might find exciting. I find trains exciting. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But it's my live stream and I can talk about what I want. Afternoon, Saul. Afternoon, Chris. Thank you for following Teddy Quick. Stormtrooper says the person who said that hasn't seen themselves yet in the mirror. I mean, yeah. Honestly. Like I say, it might be boring to you, but it's not boring to me. Different people have different interests. You know, if everyone had the same interests, then life itself would be boring, would it not? Where did Ashbridge Industries come from, says Danny. So Ashbridge Industries is kind of my brand name. Ashbridge is my surname. And when I was at university studying game design, whenever we made like projects and prototype games and stuff like that, we always had to have like a brand name attached to it. And I chose the name Ashbridge Industries. All of my university projects, all the like prototype games that I've worked on and stuff like that have had the name Ashbridge Industries attached to them, and it's just kind of stuck. So like any time I do anything sort of official online or anything like that, I always use that brand name. So that's where Ashbridge Industries comes from. bit of a freeze there. Not to worry, seems to have cleared up. The name's pretty cool. Thanks, Stormtrooper. Okay, so we've just passed a little station called Dore and Totley, which is on the Hope Valley line, which means the next station will be Sheffield, where this service terminates. Then we're going to move on to the next scenario, which is Leeds to Knaresborough. But it's not been a bad first scenario of the day. I've quite enjoyed it. It's ran pretty smoothly, which is surprising. I honestly was half expecting the game to just not run at all on stream, but it seems to be working quite well. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to get up to full speed because we were on the Erewash Valley line and not the actual Midland main line, so we haven't had a chance to see the HST up at its full speed today. Full speed, of course, being 125. We haven't managed to get beyond 80, but never mind. Maybe next time. Obviously, I will be doing more Train Simulator in future, and I will, like I was saying earlier, I will try to make sure that there's, I do as much sort of variety as possible, like driving in different places, different trains, different periods in history, and stuff like that. I'll try and mix it up as much as I can. Thanks for following, Craig Moodle. Can you not just speed it up to 125 anyway, says Scotty Dog. I mean, I could, but there would probably be an accident. So the speed limits are there for a reason. Some of the corners are very tight, and doing those corners at 125 would not go well. And we're coming to a stop now anyway, because Sheffield is just around this corner. Okay, we need to get way down to 15. Because we are now coming into Sheffield. We did slow down a little bit early, so I'll accelerate just a bit. Oh, never mind. Is that a red signal? Nope, I was looking at the wrong signal. It is, in fact, double yellow. What train is it? Says Danny. There appears to be a little bit of train missing there. The front engine hasn't rendered. This train is the Intercity 125. So at the head of the train and the rear we have two Class 43s and a rake of Mark III coaches in between. The Intercity 125 is actually the fastest diesel locomotive ever built, 125. Believe it or not, this is the fastest diesel train ever assembled. It's the fastest diesel train in the world. That is now retired, unfortunately, just a couple of years ago. They've been phasing them out for a while, but I think all major operators have now stopped using these, so you won't see these anywhere on the British main line anymore, apart from, preservation and charter services and stuff like that. And here's Sheffield. A familiar sight to me, like I said earlier, as someone who lives in Doncaster. This is probably one of the stations that I've visited most in real life. Very familiar with Sheffield. Danny says, what does the Pendolino run on? The Avanti ones. So the Pendolino, the Class 390, that runs on the West Coast main line, which runs from London Euston to Glasgow Queen Street. We're on the Midland Main Line right now, which runs from St Pancras to Sheffield, and then the East Coast Main Line, which runs from London King's Cross to Edinburgh via Doncaster, where I live. That is the Class 800s at the minute. And that's the LNER, obviously, on the East Coast. Okay, and that's Sheffield. There we go. So that is our first service of the day done. Here is the wonderful city of Sheffield in all its splendour. Obviously, there isn't actually much detail outside the train station because you don't actually go outside the train station in-game. But here it is. Here is the illustrious Sheffield, the largest city in South Yorkshire. Although it is not the county town of South Yorkshire, that's Barnsley. Fantastic job, that driver. We hand over now to Leeds-based driver Michelle, who will take the service to its final resting point for the day. Same time tomorrow. Scenario complete. Okay, that is Scenario 1 down. So we have officially driven from Nottingham to Sheffield. It'll take a minute to take us back to the menu. I'm from Sheffield, says it's Razorwolf. Cool. Love Sheffield. Big up Sheffield. Okay, so that was our first drive of the day. That was the Midland Main Line service from St Pancras to Leeds. We took it, obviously, from Nottingham to Sheffield. Next up, we are going to head over to the OTS Harrogate Loop. Where now? Glasgow, says Scotty Dog. No, unfortunately not. We're staying in Yorkshire. We're heading over to West Yorkshire now, where we're going to be driving from Leeds to Knaresborough. This is actually a scenario that I've already done before. As you can see, there's a tick there because I've already driven this one before, but it is a very good one. Knaresborough in particular is without a doubt one of the most beautiful villages in the country. If you've not heard of Knaresborough, you're going to see it soon. It is an amazing place. So let's load up Scenario 2. So we're jumping forward 6 years. The first scenario was in 2002. This one is set in 2008. And we are going to be driving a Class 142 Pacer in Northern Rail livery. And I'm sure anyone who lives in the north or Wales or the southwest will have ridden on the iconic Pacer before. If you're not familiar with the name, you'll be familiar with the train. Once you see it, you'll recognise it. You'll be like, "Oh my god, it's that piece of shit." Officially retired from service now. They have all been withdrawn from service. A couple of them have entered preservation. They were not very fun to ride on. Let's leave it at that. Very uncomfortable ride quality. Again, if you aren't familiar with the name, as soon as you see what it actually looks like, you will almost definitely be like, "Oh yeah, that thing." Can you go to any places in Scotland, says Poppy? Yes, we can. I'm not doing any Scottish routes today, but there are quite a few. What I wanted to do for this stream, because it's my first time playing Train Simulator on stream, I wanted to start with a few routes that are local to me. But next time we play, I'm going to go a bit further afield, and I'd like to do a route in Wales, one in England, and one in Scotland. So next time, we will be visiting England, Wales, and Scotland. But today, we're just staying in England. Thanks for following, William Dickens Chris. I think I don't want to, say for definite yet, because it's going to be a while before I play again, but I think next time we will probably do a route for We'll probably do a scenario for the Network Scott East route, which is Stirling to Edinburgh. I would like to do Wherry lines down in Norwich, Norwich to Great Yarmouth, because that's a really fantastic route from Armstrong Powerhouse. And then in Wales, we might do the Welsh Marches from Newport to Shrewsbury, another fantastic route. But like I say, I will definitely try and do England, Wales, and Scotland in the next live stream. Unfortunately, there are no Northern Irish routes, or Irish routes in general, for Train Simulator as of right now, so we won't be able to do any of those. Okay, good morning, driver. I didn't read that. Here's the pacer. Here it is. Does it look familiar? Have you seen this in your nightmares? Because I have. Okay, so there may be a little bit of lag right now, for the simple reason that we are in Leeds, which is the second busiest station in the country, and there are trains absolutely everywhere right now. If I just head up into the air a little bit, you can see the station is absolutely crawling with activity. There's trains coming in, there's trains going out, there's plenty of trains parked up as well. And as I say, Leeds is the busiest station in the country, apart from Birmingham New Street, and apart from the London terminals, obviously. So it's the busiest outside London and Birmingham. So on this one, we are heading to Knaresborough via Harrogate, which is actually where I was born. That's what it says on my birth certificate, anyway. The wonderful spa town of Harrogate. We will be passing through that on our way to Knaresborough. And then I think the service does continue to York, but we're not actually going to be going all the way to York. There we go. So again, sorry if there's a bit of lag right now. Once we get out of Leeds, it should start to run a little bit smoother. It's just because this is a very big station, very busy, there's lots of traffic about, but it should, like I say, once we get out into the countryside, it'll speed up a little bit. But just look at how busy it is. I mean, there's literally 2 more trains coming in right now. And a third one. There's a third one just up ahead, coming round the corner. Very, very busy station. Not great visibility out of the window on the pacer either, so I might try and avoid going into first-person view for this drive. So first station is Burley Park, which we're going to be getting to in about 3 minutes. On the left there is the line to Doncaster, that's the East Coast Main Line. And on my left here is the, is it the Calder Valley Line? It goes to Skipton, Keighley, Bradford, Bradford Foster Square, and so on and so on, and eventually to Carlisle, I believe. And then, of course, the line that we're on right now is the Harrogate line, which goes to Harrogate, Knaresborough, and York. Speed up a little bit here. Oh, Ilkley as well, sorry. That line also goes to Ilkley. A fantastic village in the Yorkshire Dales. Well, actually, I think it's technically Peak District. But I love Ilkley, been there many times. And Skipton as well, actually. This is what I love. This is why I specifically wanted to choose. I specifically wanted to drive in areas like local to me, because I genuinely I've actually been to these places before. You know what I mean? Like with like Euro Truck, you know, I'm in Botswana in Euro Truck right now. I've never been to Botswana. So I can't look around and say, oh look, it's that familiar landmark, etc, etc. But here, because I'm driving in a place that I've actually been to and that I'm actually familiar with, I can actually look at these places and, you know, inject my own experiences. Having said that, I haven't actually been to any of the stations on this route apart from Leeds. But I'm familiar with the area. Oh, whoa, hang on. We're about to approach Burley Park. I forgot to put on the brakes. So here's Burley Park. Stopped a little bit short, actually. We could have gone a little bit further under the bridge. You can see there on the station signs as well that Burley Park is part of the West Yorkshire metro area. That extends as far as Harrogate, and then obviously after Harrogate you're into North Yorkshire. So Twins! Hello. Next stop, Headingley. Okay, let's do it. Off we go. Oh yeah, we can actually do passenger view on this one as well. That's cool. Now, you might be thinking, the inside of this train looks a lot like a bus. And you might also be thinking, the outside of this train looks a lot like a bus. Well, prepare yourselves for a shock, everybody, because this train is in fact a bus. So, the Pacer, the Class 140 series of DMUs were actually based on the chassis, on the body of the Leyland National Bus. It's not literally a bus, they didn't just take an actual bus and put train wheels on it, but the body is modelled after the British Leyland National Bus, and a lot of the same parts that were used to build those buses were used to build these trains. Which is why they were notoriously uncomfortable. The actual chassis, the wheelbase, is from wagons, which is why there's only 4 wheels. Obviously, most DMUs in the UK now have 8 wheels on 4 axles. These only have 4 wheels each, like each carriage only has 4 wheels, which makes the ride incredibly uncomfortable. And the fact that it's literally the body of a bus on top doesn't really help. So these were notoriously uncomfortable to drive and to ride. Fortunately, they were withdrawn by the end of 2022 because they don't actually comply with the disability... I think... Wait, what's the exact name? I think it's the Disability Act of 2015. Requires all public transport to be accessible to wheelchair users, and unfortunately the Pacer is not, because it has steps to get up to the actual the actual carriage. So they were withdrawn, starting in 2019 and ended in 2022. Much to the enjoyment, I'm sure, much to the happiness of anyone who had to ride these things on a regular basis, because let me tell you, as someone who did have to ride these on a regular basis, they are not comfortable at all. There's the steps, as you can see. Not wheelchair accessible at all, which is why they were withdrawn. Let me do a quick save while we're here, while we're stood. Next stop, Horsforth. Ooh, no, go the other way, go the other way. So, that was a hill start, which is why we rolled back a little bit there, on a very steep gradient right now. Oh, there's another train coming in. So that one will be going to Leeds. Let me just check on the map and see how far we've actually got to go. So next station, again, Horsforth. Then we're calling at Wheaton, Hannell, Hornbeam Park, Harrogate, Starbeck, and finally Knaresborough. We're also going to be crossing, is it called Starbeck Viaduct, I believe? There's a really nice viaduct along the way, and obviously there's a really nice viaduct in Knaresborough as well. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Knaresborough is one of the most beautiful places in the UK. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you'll see why when we get there if you're not familiar with it already. Another place that I am happy to say I've visited many times, Knaresborough. Some interesting local lore there as well, which I'll tell you about when we get a bit closer. We're not bouncing much, I notice. So I can actually... Let me just... real quick. There is a button. I'm gonna have to find out how to do it. But there is a key that you can use to control the bounce factor of this particular loco. Because, again, that's what this engine is famous for. That's what the Pacer is famous for, the fact that it bounced around like hell because it was a bus on wagon wheels. And to reflect that, Armstrong Powerhouse actually have added in a bounce feature, which I'm gonna find out how to control that real quick. Okay, bounce factor increase is Shift and B. Okay, let's try it. One second. There we go. It'll take a second to reload the assets because I tapped out. Okay, I've turned the bounce factor all the way up to 5, so if we go inside the cab now... That's more like it. That is more like it. Again, if you've ever ridden on one of these in real life, you will know this is not an exaggeration. They really did bounce this much. They were terrible. They also don't do very well on hills, I'm noticing. So I think that it's pretty much a 1 in 100 gradient all the way to Knaresborough, which is, again, an incredibly steep gradient for a train. And these don't appear to be handling it very well. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the Pacer wasn't actually cleared for this line in real life. I know the Buxton line in the Peak District. This train was not allowed to operate on that line because the gradient was so high that it just couldn't get up the hill. And I would say that the gradient here is about the same. So I don't think in real life this train would actually be cleared for this route. But we're here now. We're struggling, but we're here. And we're coming into Horsforth. Here we are. Again, Horsforth is also part of the West Yorkshire metro area, as you can see. Do a quick save there. Where's next? Wheaton, Panel, Hornbeam Park, and I think then Harrogate. Next stop, Wheaton. Here we go. Okay, next stop for Wheaton in about 7 minutes. Oh, I didn't mean to press that, but I'll save anyway. What's that on the left? Why is there a siding here? What a strange place to have a siding. Horsforth turnback siding. Oh, right, okay. So I'm guessing that some trains will terminate here at Horsforth. Obviously, our train is continuing on to Knaresborough, but any trains that terminate at Horsforth will then like go up into this siding and then reverse back down onto the down platform. So that's why there's a siding there. Thanks for following, Jake Smith. Much appreciated. Oh, by the way, nobody's guessed what my video that I'm posting tomorrow is about yet. I mentioned earlier in the stream, I've made a video. It's a video that people have been asking for a very long time. If you have any ideas what it is, let me know, and I will reveal at the end of the stream if you're right. Think about all the questions that people like to ask me, and then think about which of those questions could be videos. Oh, looks like there's a bit of a missing asset here. The tunnel entrance is not there. Oh, we are going down. Whoa! 1 in 94 we are going down right now. This is a very steep gradient. Have to be careful on the brake. Oh, crap, the cab lights. I don't actually know how to turn the cabin lights on, so unfortunately any passengers on the train are just going to be sitting in the dark until we get out of this tunnel. I can turn the lights on in the cab. I don't know what button it is for the saloon lights, unfortunately, so sorry everybody. It's quite a long tunnel as well. get a little bit of brake going on. The bounce, the absolute insanity of that bounce. Again, that's not an exaggeration, people. If anyone here has actually had the misfortune to travel on a pacer before, please let me know. Have you ever been on this train before? If you have, please trauma dump here. Tell us all about how terrible it was. Tell us about how awful the ride quality was and how much it felt like you wanted to throw up when you finally got off. Because they really were this bouncy. Okay, I think the tunnel entrance is around this corner. It is. There's the daylight. Oh, the tunnel's this... That's a bit weird. So for some reason the other entrance to the tunnel had a missing asset, but this end didn't. Strange. Oh, I can see the viaduct up ahead. Actually, that's not the viaduct I was thinking of. Is it? It might be. Are there 3 viaducts on this section of the line? There might be. I guess we'll find out. Ooh. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna guess it's probably called Wheaton Viaduct, because the next station is Wheaton. Oh, we're speeding. Whoops. So there are 3 viaducts then, because we've just... The one we just crossed is Wheaton Viaduct. I know there's one just before Harrogate, or it might be just after Harrogate. Well, it depends on your perspective, I guess. And then obviously there's Knaresborough Viaduct when we get there, which is beautiful. I feel like I can't big up Knaresborough enough. It's just such a beautiful place. Okay, another tunnel. I think this one's a lot shorter. Yeah, it is. I can already see the other side. Climbing again, by the way. 1 in 185 at the minute is the gradient. But there is Wheaton. I can see the platforms. Oh, we might overshoot. We might overshoot. Hold on. Hold on. Slow down. Please slow down. No, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Made it. Okay, so I'm noticing that there is no West Yorkshire Metro sign on the station sign there, so I'm guessing that Horsforth was actually the last station in the West Yorkshire Metro area, which means we've officially crossed over into North Yorkshire. Hey! The county of my birth. Let me do a quick save. Next stop is Panel. Let's get going. It might, I think... Is that a viaduct as well? There's a very long straight section of track there. It's either a tunnel or a viaduct. I hope it's a viaduct, because they're more interesting than tunnels, but we'll see. Also, there is... Yeah, there's definitely a viaduct here. I think this is Panel Viaduct. And then we get to Harrogate. So you'll notice as well there's a lot of tight corners coming up, particularly here and here. Oh. Oh, crap. Crap. Quick, quick! Okay, I accidentally tabbed out of the game and now the emergency brake has come on because my AWS was ringing. Which means I'm going to have to go back to the main menu and load up from the last save point. Whoops. I should have been paying more attention there, that was my bad. Anyway, what I was trying to say was that there's a couple of very sharp corners around the Harrogate area, and the reason for that is there used to be quite a lot more railways in Harrogate. There used to be 5 different lines going in and out of Harrogate. Now there's only 1, of course. But over here, just before the viaduct, there used to be a line that went across here. And there also used to be a junction here. And that used to go down to Wetherby. Then there also used to be a line up there. I forget where to. Why are we not moving? Okay, so, bit of a problem, everyone. We're not moving now. I think I broke it. Well, that's fun, isn't it? It appears that by accidentally tabbing out of the game, I've now completely broken this scenario, and I don't really want to start it again, because we've already gotten halfway. We may have to move on to the last scenario if I can't get this to work right now. One thing I can try is to completely shut the engine down and then start it up again. Okay. Okay. Completely shut down. Turn it back on. It's not coming back on. I've fucked it. Sorry for swearing, but I've... well, I've fucked it. Nothing. Okay, there's one more thing I can try. I'm going to shut down... Well, I'm going to put the reverser into neutral, but not switch off the engine. And we'll see if that works. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to restart the scenario. Fortunately, I do have something that can help us speed it up a little bit. If need be. This might work, you never know. Okay, so switch to neutral. Switch to forwards. Accelerate. Nothing. Okay, what if I switch ends? Okay. Are you gonna move? It's moving! Okay, so unfortunately what I've had to do is switch ends, so we are now going to be driving backwards for the rest of the way. But for some reason the lead car wouldn't start up. Something has happened in the lead car, and it just wouldn't accelerate even on full throttle. So we are driving backwards now, the rest of the way to Knaresborough. Which means we're going to have to keep an extra close eye on the signals, because I don't think the AWS is going to work in the backwards direction. I guess we'll find out. But there we are at the back, that's us. How's it going with the train ride, says Stormtrooper. It's going alright. We did have a little bit of a problem. I stopped at the last station and then the train wouldn't start again. But I've switched to the rear driving cab, and that seems to have worked. Very unorthodox. I would not do this in real life, obviously. But I think we can get away with it in-game. Okay. Oh, the AWS does work in the reverse direction. That is handy. So I could be wrong, but I don't think we can actually get up to full speed anymore. Because of whatever's happened to the lead car. The lead car is just not providing any power at all to the train. So it's dead weight, basically, which is why we're struggling to pick up speed right now. It happened again! Oh my god, I wasn't paying attention and the emergency brake has come on again. And if the emergency brake comes on, by the way, you have to wait till the train comes to a complete stop before you can start moving again. This has been a rather eventful journey. It should have been a nice simple drive from Leeds to Knaresborough. Instead, the lead car broke down, the emergency brake has been applied. We're well behind schedule, put it that way. That one's off to Leeds. But on the plus side, we are still moving, so that's something at least, right? We're moving backwards, but we are moving. Right. Can I tab out? Can I open the map, or is it going to apply the emergency brake again? I just need to see. Okay, we're coming up towards panel. Climbing up a very steep gradient again. Well, not quite as steep as the last one. You know what I should have done? When the emergency brake came on, I should have tried switching cabs again to see if it had let me start up the front cab again. Too late now. We're in the rear cab. It is what it is. I hope we're going to have time for the last scenario now. We might not actually, because we started late. We've had trouble with this scenario. I'll start it, but we might not finish it. We'll see what happens. Let's just focus on this one for now. Okay, so here is the wonderful village of Panel. A little bit of platform missing there, but we'll gloss over that. Okay. So next up's Hornbeam Park. And then Harrogate. And then Starbeck and Knaresborough. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing that on camera. Sometimes I just got to adjust a little bit. It happens. Right, so next station is Hornbeam Park. What a wonderful name for a station. There's some really great station names on this route. There's Hornbeam Park, there's Starbeck, Knaresborough. I just really like the name Knaresborough, and it's also a really nice place. And that's where we're going, as you can see. Now that is a viaduct. Don't know if you can see that very well on stream, but that is it called Panel Viaduct? It's a big viaduct and we're going across it. But before we do, there is an incredibly tight curve coming up and we are going to have to reduce speed to 20. Oh, a little bit slower. Okay, so this is one of the very tight curves that I was mentioning earlier. And the reason that there's such a tight curve here is because this used to actually be a junction. Let me just center. So yeah, there used to be a line that went out across in this direction towards Wetherby. Obviously that line is long gone. But that's the reason that there's such a tight curve here just before the viaduct. And here's the viaduct itself. I think this is called Panel Viaduct. I'm not 100% sure. But there it is. Wonderful, huge viaduct. Look at the size of it. Is that a steam engine? It is! Oh, there's a rail tour. Look at that. Steam engine. Pretty cool. That looks like West Coast Railway Company, who run like charter services, like specials, stuff like that. And that'll be what that was. Then just at the top of this hill, we should find Hornbeam Park. In fact, I can see the platforms now, so let's hit the brakes. Oh, it's a little bit of lag there. It's probably loading in assets. So this is Hornbeam Park. Oh, very awkward place to stop. I think we have very slightly undershot the platform as well. Yeah, the doors haven't actually opened on the rear car because we've just stopped short. Okay, next station should be Harrogate. Yes, it is. Wonderful. I may have mentioned it before, but for those of you who don't know, I was born in Harrogate. And that's where we're going next. Although, I was born in Harrogate, but I've never actually been to Harrogate Station. Because I was born in a hospital, not a train station, believe it or not. Well, I don't know, actually, maybe as a very young child, maybe as a baby, I may have been there at some point. I've never knowingly been to Harrogate Station, but I was born in Harrogate, and I lived there for about 6 months after I was born. Not on my own, with my parents, obviously, so at some point in those 6 months I may have been to Harrogate Station, but I don't think I did. And I wouldn't have remembered it anyway. Do your trains go to Wales, says Chris. We won't be going to Wales today, Chris. Sorry about that. But I will be going to Wales in future live streams. So next time I would quite like to do a drive on the Welsh Marchers line, Newport to Shrewsbury. But just for today, we're sticking close to home for me, which of course is Yorkshire. Okay, we're coming into Harrogate. I can't actually see it because obviously we're in the reverse cab again. There it is. The illustrious Harrogate Spa, aka the place where Saul was born. It is famous for other things, not just the fact that I was born there. Some Roman baths or something, you know, inconsequential really. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Little known fact. That is actually my parents up there. That's why I'm so into trains, because they were stood up here, over the station, when my mum went into labour, and that's why I'm into trains. Fun fact. Hi, Mum and Dad. That actually looks nothing like. They look nothing like human beings, let alone my parents. It's a shame we're not going to get to see an LNER service. I was kind of hoping that we'd see one stabled here, because LNER do actually run one service a day to Harrogate, via Leeds, of course. What normally happens is early in the morning the train from King's Cross arrives, and then there's a siding here, a special siding just for the LNER, which is on my right now. So the train comes up from London early in the morning, it waits in the siding until the evening, and then it goes back to London. But unfortunately it doesn't seem to be here today. I mean, in fairness, this scenario is from 2008, when LNER didn't exist, so that would explain why. This is a 1 in 66 gradient out of Harrogate, by the way, which is ridiculously steep. I know it doesn't look it from outside, but 1 in 66 is insane. Okay, next up is Starbeck, just around this corner. Let's put our foot down a little bit. There's something coming the other way. I think it's just another pacer. I have to say, the rolling stock on this route, a little bit basic. It seems to just be pacers. There was the rail tour that passed us just outside Hornbeam Park. That was pretty cool. But pretty much every other train we've seen today has been a pacer. Mix it up a bit. Throw a couple of sprinters in there, you know. Or an Azuma again. I know we're in the wrong era, but it would have been cool to see an Azuma stabled at Harrogate. Never mind. Maybe next time. Okay, Starbeck dead ahead. Although it is around the corner, so it's not actually dead ahead. That's literally the opposite of what dead ahead actually means. Forget I said dead ahead. A bit of lag again. Okay, so this is the wonderfully named village of Starbeck. Never been. No idea what it's like. But the name alone is incredible. Starbeck. Imagine living in a place called Starbeck. That's such a cool name. I like that church. That's quite an interesting looking building over there. Okay, this is Starbeck, which means there's only one more station to go. The next station will be Knaresborough. I want to see it. I want to see it cross the crossing this time, though. Any second now. There it is. And off it goes. So again, another... Ooh, speeding a little bit there. Another very sharp corner here out of Starbeck, because this, again, would have been a junction. And the line would have continued on down towards Wetherby. Many years ago, obviously. Semaphore signals here as well. Love semaphore signals. Sorry, there's a little bit of lag there. There it is, the one and only Knaresborough has hoved into view. And I'm pretty sure it's literally a dead straight line to Knaresborough. It is. So I was saying earlier, if you were here earlier, you may recall, I was saying that Knaresborough is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful villages in the UK. And we are about to arrive there, so hopefully you'll see why, and you may even agree with me. I just think it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, certainly. Oh, I did have some Knaresborough lore that I was going to share as well. We'll wait till we get there for that. So here it is. We are about to cross Knaresborough Viaduct, and I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to let the camera do the work. I'm just going to let you see what it looks like, and hopefully you will agree with me. This is one of the most gorgeous places in the UK. Bear in mind that it looks better in real life than it does in the game, obviously. And there it is. That's Knaresborough. This is Knaresborough. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful villages in the United Kingdom. The game doesn't really do it justice. It looks even more picturesque in real life, but it is just an absolutely fantastic place. I love it. I love it so much. I've been here so many times in my childhood. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. And the station is right there. The station is literally right at the top of this incredibly steep hill, just as you come off the viaduct. But there it is, Knaresborough. In fact, I actually have a photo taken from here. I have a photo of this exact shot of the viaduct with a train going across it. I'll have to find that out. I'll have to dig up that photo and show it to you. I've been here so many times, and it's such an amazing place. And we finally got to see it. There you go, that's Knaresborough. And that's the end of that scenario. If it'll actually let me quit back to the main menu. It seems to have frozen a little bit. Oh. Ah, final destination reached, it says. Okay. Now it's going to go back to the main menu. So yes, that is Knaresborough. Like I say, I do have a shot of that viaduct from that exact angle, and I will try and find it for you later on. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. Absolutely amazing place. I'm going to load up the next scenario. I'm going to load up the final scenario of today, right now, which is for DPS Northeast England, and it is a freight service from Tees N.Y to Scunthorpe. But while that's loading, I do want to tell you the little bit of Knaresborough lore that I mentioned earlier. So in Knaresborough, there is a bridge. It's not the same bridge it's not the viaduct, there's another smaller bridge. But there's a little bridge in Knaresborough. And there was also a nun called Mother Shipton who lived in Knaresborough. I think she was a nun. I might get some of the details a little bit wrong. But this nun, Mother Shipton, claimed to be like a sort of oracle. She claimed to see the future. And the bridge in Knaresborough, it collapsed twice. There were two separate incidents where the bridge collapsed. And Mother Shipton, the nun, predicted that if the bridge ever collapsed again, the world would end. The bridge has never collapsed again. It only ever collapsed twice. Maybe when it collapses for the third time, the world will end. Maybe she was right. But until it does collapse again, we'll never know. But that's the interesting bit of Knaresborough history that I wanted to share with you there. So there was a woman called Mother Teresa who claimed she could see the future, and she claimed that the world would end if Knaresborough Bridge collapsed for the third time. But it never did. Yet. Anyway, let's get on with the third scenario. So, we are in... Well, we're at Tees Yard. Good afternoon, driver. You have 66137 as your motive power to take 6054 from here, Tees Yard, to York, where you will be relieved. Set up your cab. Ensure the T9198 has routed you on the up main. And depart when you are ready. Okay. So, a freight service for our final train of the day. We are transporting some... why won't it let me go to the other... Okay. Oh, crap. I don't think we're actually connected to the wagons there. Now we are. Okay, so there was a slight bug with the scenario there where we weren't actually connected to the wagons we were supposed to be pulling. That's better. So we got some, I think these are MEA wagons. And we are transporting fly ash. Again, as far as York, the train will continue on to Scunthorpe, but we're only taking it as far as York, which is where we are going to finish up for today. It's going to take us quite a while, though, because it is quite a long drive. Like I say, I'm hoping we'll get this finished in time for the end of the stream. Can't see that we will, to be honest, but you never know. So this is a Class 66, by the way, in DB Schenker livery, or DB Cargo as they're now known, sorry. DB Cargo, of course, being a German rail freight company which bought out EWS a few years back. So obviously, because it's a freight service, we will be moving a lot slower for this one. It says in the description that we are limited to 60 miles an hour, so we can't go above 60 in this scenario. And the current speed limit's 20, so it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, this is your last chance to guess, everyone. Because I'm going to reveal at the end of the stream what the video is that's going to be going up tomorrow. If you'd like to place your final guesses now. So I'm posting a video tomorrow. It's a video that people have been asking about for a long time. And it's not to do with games in any way. That's all the information you have so far, so if you have any guesses, feel free to make them. It's cool, there's an abandoned section of bridge here. And you can see from the tunnels up ahead there that there used to be an extra pair of tracks going through there as well. Okay, we can start to pick up speed a little bit now. So even though we are going to be going a bit slower on this because it's a freight service, we also won't be stopping anywhere because it's, you know, we don't have to pick up passengers. So we will be driving non-stop all the way to York. This junction here, if we went right, that would go up to Sunderland, and the junction up ahead, if we go right there, that goes across to Darlington, but we're going straight down towards Northallerton. Once again, we'll be on familiar turf for me personally, once we get to Northallerton. And especially York, another station that I've visited quite a lot in my time. It might take us a while to get up to speed as well because this is a very heavy train. On the left, on the right there, that's the junction towards Sunderland coming in. And again, you can see from how wide these bridges and stuff are, there did used to be 2 extra lines across there many years ago. God, it is really slow to pick up speed. We're only at 40 right now. Oh, I didn't even put my lights on. Ooh, whoops. That's very bad. That'd be a disciplinary. If anyone found out I was driving without the headlights on. The lights, by the way, again, just to quickly mention for anyone who's not familiar, so the way the lights work is the lights on the outside, the 2 rectangular ones, they're called the marker lights. They have to be on at all times. And then the bigger lights, the one on the left is for daytime driving, and the one on the right is for nighttime driving. Oh, train. Where's that going then? That one's Bishop Auckland to Saltburn. Another place that I've visited quite a few times, although I've never been there on the train. We used to go by car because one of my mum's relatives lived in Saltburn. Beautiful seaside town. Its official name is actually Saltburn by the Sea. That's what the town's called. Where's Omzi, says J-Ghost. Omzi will be coming out on Wednesday. Love the sounds as well. Very accurate. Do you promise, says J-Ghost. I don't make promises. If I say I promise and then something happens and I have to cancel it, then I'll feel bad that I've broke my promise. I will try. It seems like every single time I've tried to play Omzi, something has happened. Like, I've genuinely, I've tried to play it about 5 times, and something has always gotten in the way. I would like to play it on Wednesday. I sincerely would like to play it on Wednesday, but I'm not going to promise it. Nothing's promised. I could be dead by Wednesday. Who knows? I'm not planning anything. I'm just saying, you know. I'm just trying to make a point that nothing's promised. Why are we not getting any speed up right now? And why is the game just frozen? Let me try and reset the accelerator. Okay, and then I'll flick it back on again. Oh, this is a nice viaduct here. Don't know what it's called. I'm not an expert on viaducts, but it is a very nice one. Quite a long train, this one. Okay, so next we're going to be passing Yarm. Oh, one of my roommates in my first year at university was from Yarm. Then there's a Doncaster service that we're going to be passing. I don't think there's any more passenger stations then until Northallerton, which is where we're going to join the East Coast Main Line. And we will be on the East Coast Main Line for the rest of the way to York after that. It really doesn't want to get speed up. I'm not sure why. It just won't go beyond 50 by the looks of it. Well, anyway. So this is Yarm. Can I see my friend's house? Probably not. Oh, this is just a stock move. Coming the other way. And that's going from Doncaster to Redcar, which is where my mum's from. My mum's from Redcar. See, this is what I was saying earlier. This is why I really wanted to do the first episode in a place that I was familiar with, because I can look at all these places and I can tell you things about them regarding myself and my own life. You know, I can say, oh, I was born here, or I've been here, or etc., etc. But next time, we'll be doing England, Wales and Scotland. And I've only been to 2 of those countries, England and Wales. I've never been to Scotland. I apologise to all Scots out there. Never been. Unless you count Doncaster as being part of Scotland, but we're not going to that today. I've already told that story once before. Yeah, really struggling to keep above 50. It might just be the weight of the train, because it is an incredibly heavy train we're putting. Although, surely it can't be that heavy, because these are only MEA wagons, which are very small. And there's not that many of them. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, level crossing there. I'd know that sound anywhere. Yeah, I must confess, this is definitely the least interesting route, especially once we get past Northallerton. It's literally an almost straight line all the way from Northallerton to York, and that's a long drive. So I'm hoping there's going to be some decent traffic coming the other way, so we can actually, you know, have something to see. If not, it is literally just going to be driving in a straight line for half an hour, and I don't really want to do that, considering that the stream is supposed to end in 15 minutes anyway. I could use async keys. I may use async keys just to speed things up a little bit. I mean, it's going to take another 15 minutes just to get to Northallerton, and then we've got to go from Northallerton to York. So I'm going to use async keys. So if you're not familiar with Train Simulator, async keys basically means I'm speeding up the game. We're now driving in double time. I can go all the way up to 5 times, but I'm not going to do that because that would be a bit excessive. Let's do 3. So the game's now running at 3 times normal time. We're moving 3 times faster than we would be in real life. But on such a slow service, it doesn't really make that much difference. Like, you could see a train going at this speed in real life, right? If I turn it up to times 5, that's a bit excessive. But if times 3, I think is okay. At least until we get to Northallerton. Okay, that does actually seem a little bit fast. Speed restriction coming up. Ease off the accelerator. I mean, we've only just managed to get past 50 anyway, so... Oh, what's this coming the other way? Oh, it's a Desero. Lovely, so that will be Liverpool. Bloody hell. Sorry about that. Liverpool? Nope, York to Saltburn. Okay. I was completely wrong. I just started choking on thin air there. Sorry. I've got a little bit of coffee left, but it's stone cold. That'll do. Alright, turn this back up a bit. Okay, slow it down a bit. We've got a 45 restriction coming up. We must be approaching Northallerton now, because there's a lot of speed restrictions starting to appear. Let me just check. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're now approaching Northallerton. Once again, this line here is the East Coast Main Line from Edinburgh to London King's Cross. And we are going to be joining it. Although I'm not sure we're going the right way. I think we're supposed to be... Are we supposed to go straight ahead here? Because if we are, then the points are not set in the right position. Okay. This is not... I mean, I'll go with it. It does quite clearly say Northallerton Platform 1, but in real life we should not be going through Northallerton. There's deliberately an avoiding line to go around it. We should be going down here to Longlands up avoiding line instead of going directly through the station, but I don't make the routes, I just drive them. Game, says Scott Ashton, this is Train Simulator Classic. And we're currently on a drive from Tees Yard to Scunthorpe. We're only going to be taking it as far as York. And we're just outside Northallerton at the moment. Okay, so what should happen here in real life is we should be going straight ahead. Now, we're not going straight ahead, as you can see, we're turning left here. I don't know why. I don't know why it's routed us this way. Again, Northallerton is a station directly on the East Coast Main Line, so in real life, the train wouldn't be routed through the station. It would go on the lower track there, which goes around the station, and then joins back on after. But this is the one and only East Coast Main Line. London King's Cross is that way. Edinburgh is that way. And York, where we're going, is also that way. Thanks for the game controller, Scott Ashton. It's very kind of you. And thank you as well, Scotty Dog and T1. I didn't see those gifts earlier, but thank you very much for sending those. What's that way, then? Nothing. It's a dead end. But you can see down there, there's the avoiding lines. That's the track that we should be on right now. Which then goes under the East Coast Main Line and then joins back up a little bit further up there. That's where we should be. I don't know why we're here, but we are. Ultimately, the destination is the same, that being York. Now, according to the in-game timer here, it's going to take us 40 minutes to get to York, so I'm definitely going to be using the async keys. I'm going to turn it all the way up to ×4 right now. Because, again, it's literally just a straight line from here to York. Like, there's one tiny curve. Let me just show you on the map again. There's a curve here, and then it's a completely straight line to York. I don't want to drive in a straight line for 40 minutes, so I am going to use async keys. We're going to speed the game up a little bit. We'll slow it back down whenever any AI traffic comes past, so we can see it. Like, in just a minute, I think we're going to be passed by an express service from Edinburgh to Plymouth. Yep, I can see it. Okay, let's slow it down a second. Oh, not yet. Okay, this is the last curve we are going to see for the next 20 minutes, so take it all in, because there literally will not be another one. Okay, that is the cross-country service from Edinburgh to Plymouth. It's going to pass us on the right in a second. There it goes. We might meet it again in York, I don't know. It depends how long it stands in York. I wouldn't count on it, but you never know. That might not be the last we've seen of it. Okay, so then we've got Thirsk, which is the only station between Northallerton and York. I'll use async keys again to speed that up. Nearly. Oh, there's a speed restriction through Thirsk as well. Slow it down a bit. Looks like there's another freight train as well on the down platform. And it's transporting gypsum. Wonderful. Okay, I don't think we're going to get down to 40 in time, are we? Oh, we did. So once again, this is Thirsk. This is the last station before York. So the next place we stop will be York. Okay, speed it back up a bit. Are there any other services that we're going to pass before York? I really hope so, because it's going to be very boring if not. Yes! Okay, appearing on the right, coming towards us any minute now, should be a service from Liverpool Lime Street to Newcastle. any second. Is that it? Where is it? Oh, we're nowhere near it yet. Oops. Back to the async keys then. There it is. So passing us on the right now is the Transpennine Express service to Newcastle, I think I said. That's the Class 800 there. Liverpool Lime Street to Newcastle. That's the the TPE North route. Okay, anything else of note? There's got to be something. There is nothing. There is literally... There's not even anything coming the other way. Oh, Plymouth to Edinburgh, but it's going to be ages before we actually come across that. So I'm just going to leave it at ×5. We're going to speed through this area because it's a very long, straight line. There's literally nothing to see. It's completely flat. There's no hills. There's no villages. There's nothing. We are in like one of the emptiest parts of the country, so... We'll just keep the game running a little bit faster until we come across something interesting, which hopefully we eventually will. I cannot imagine being a driver on this particular section of the CML because there's nothing. There's literally nothing. It's just a straight line for an hour. Just driving a straight line for an hour. Okay, so there's a cross-country service coming up on the right now from Plymouth to Edinburgh. Goes. And we've stopped right under a pylon as well. It's very quiet without the train. Okay, anything else? Aha! Okay, looks like we might actually see some slightly more interesting stuff on this last leg of the journey. So there's a King's Cross to Edinburgh service coming up. I'm assuming that's going to be an 800 as well, the Azuma. Then just before York, there's Manchester Victoria to Saltburn. That will be a 185. And we're stopping at York's South Reception. Oh, we're not actually going into York Station. Oh, that's a shame. I thought we'd actually get to see York Station, because that was kind of the whole point of me picking this scenario, because we've been to Sheffield, we've been to Leeds, and I wanted to go to York to complete the trifecta of major stations in Yorkshire. But never mind. Oh, okay. There is the King's Cross to Edinburgh service, London North Eastern Railway. About to breeze past us. It's not moving very fast. I think it's going slower than us. But it's probably just picking up speed after leaving York. There it goes. Next one's going to be Manchester Victoria to Saltburn. Okay, I'm wary of the time. I know it's gone past 6 o'clock, so I'm going to try and wrap this up very soon. I'm sorry the last scenario has been quite rushed compared to the first two. Obviously, we did start the stream late, and then we had a few problems actually with the second scenario. So it couldn't really have been avoided. I'm very sorry that we did have to kind of rush through this last one. But I'd rather rush through it and get it finished than not do it at all. Okay, on the left. On the right, sorry. That's the Trans-Pennine Express service to wherever it was going to. I didn't... Saltburn again. Okay, which means there's no other services that are going to pass us before York now. We are getting close. In fact, I think we are actually going to have to stop at Skelton Junction by the looks of it. Possibly to let a service pass us in the other direction. There's a couple of trains down there. I don't know if they're going to pass us at all. Is there anything else coming from this direction? There is. There's a train from Edinburgh to King's Cross that's approaching from behind us. I think that might be what we're about to stop for. So we do have to stop at Skelton Junction up ahead. Again, I'm guessing that the reason we're stopping there is to let that service pass to get into York. I've accidentally tabbed out of the game again. That's what happened earlier when the game froze and started behaving funny. Okay, it looks like it hasn't happened this time. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit more again. Okay, that's a yellow signal. Next signal's red. We have got to come to a complete stop. Let's start applying the brakes. Looks like there's another cross-country service is about to come past us from Banbury to Newcastle. Never actually been to Banbury, but I know that the cross-country route through Banbury passes through Leamington Spa, which I have been to. I've got a few friends who live in Leamington Spa. And of course I've been to Newcastle a couple of times as well. There it goes. Wait, the signal ahead is green now. Why is the signal ahead gone green? It was red. Oh, that's the train we were waiting for. Okay. So we're actually going to be path across. So the reason that that signal was red is because we were waiting for that train to pass us. Please ignore my phone. Someone's ringing me, but I'll pick it up later. So the reason that that signal was red is because we're now going to go across to this line here, the third line. So I guess that King's Cross service isn't going to pass us then. I was expecting it would. Why else would it be there? Unless it's going to pass us right at the last minute when we finally come into York. We'll see. But we are now back on the fast line. Very dangerous place to be for such a slow-moving train. But we're not going to be here for long. We're going to move across again to the right-hand side there. Here we go. That line there, by the way... Oh no, not that line there. It's a bit further down. Okay. That's it. We've cleared the East Coast Main Line. And we're back onto the freight line. Which means very soon, I imagine, the King's Cross service is going to pass us. Where is it? It's still way up here, but you got to remember that that train can do 125 and we can only do 60, so it is probably going to pass us anyway. I'm going to async this again, just to give us this last little stretch. Leave off the accelerator. So now the line on the left here, that's the line to Knaresborough. So the route we just done, the drive from Leeds to Knaresborough, if we carried on past Knaresborough, we would come down that line and into York from this direction. Oh, I think we're going to speed a little bit here. Yep, just a bit. Oh, there's a King's Cross to Aberdeen service going to pass us on the left in a second. There it is. There it goes. Is that other service even going to pass us, though? It's still way far off in the distance. I don't think it actually will. Are we just really early? We might just be here really early. Oh, 25. Oh, 15? Where was the sign? There was no sign to say that the speed limit was dropping to 15. Well, we're here. So the left there, the tracks on the far left are the East Coast Main Line, which obviously goes directly into York Station. The National Railway Museum is just here. Obviously it's not actually in the game, but all of these sidings here are National Railway Museum. And York Station is directly ahead of us, just over there. Is that service ever going to pass us? It isn't. I think we might have gotten here quite early, because there's a couple of trains that aren't actually going to pass us. Like this one from Liverpool Lime Street hasn't even started moving yet. Well, here we are, anyway. This is York. A little bit anticlimactic. I was hoping that we'd actually get to York Station. In fact, while you slow down, let's go and have a look at the actual station. So this is where I thought we'd be finishing today. We didn't actually end up getting all the way here. But this is York Railway Station. Another station I'm very familiar with. Been visited many times on my many visits to the National Railway Museum, which is just there. Those buildings there are the National Railway Museum. But yes, a couple of missing assets. We'll ignore that. But that's York. And that is the end of this scenario, and thus the end of today's stream, I guess. So, we'll just wait for the game to actually close out. There we go. Okay, so we've had a pretty good day today, a pretty good stream. We've done 3 scenarios. We did Nottingham to Sheffield with the Midland Main Line, HST. We did Leeds to Knaresborough with the Pacer, and we did just now Tees Yard to York with the Class 66. So a pretty good stream all in all. Let me switch over to my big camera. Okay, there's the music. Okay. Yes, so that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope you've enjoyed the first installment of Train Sim Saturday. I will be continuing this. I will do more Train Simulator in the future. Obviously, the next time we play it, I would like to do 3 scenarios in England, Wales and Scotland, so we'll see what happens there. But of course, it won't be next Saturday, it will be the Saturday after, because I'm on the new 2-week schedule. But yes, please do join me for the next Train Sim Saturday in 2 weeks. My next live stream is going to be Minecraft on Monday, so hopefully you'll be looking forward to that. I'm very excited to get back into some Minecraft. And one more thing before we go, I do want to tell you about tomorrow's video, because I've hinted about it quite a lot through today's stream. But for those of you who were wondering, if I just pan my camera a tiny bit, the answer is just there. Way over in the back of the room there is my pet jumping spider, Luna. People are always asking me about her. Every single stream, people are asking, you know, how's the spider? Can we see the spider? So on and so forth. So the answer is yes, you will see her tomorrow. I've made a brand new video all about my pet spider, Luna. That's going to be going out tomorrow, so if you're interested in learning more about my pet spider, tune in for tomorrow's video. But that's going to be all from me for today. Like I say, video going out tomorrow, new live stream on Monday. If you have enjoyed and you haven't already followed, please do. And if you're interested in supporting me financially, please consider checking out my Patreon, like these wonderful people. Thank you very much, Kate, Sophie, Gabby, Jess, and Daniel, for supporting me over there. Also, don't forget to join the Discord if you want to keep informed about when I stream and stuff like that. And there's various other links in my bio for my YouTube channel, Instagram, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all very much for joining me this evening. I hope you've had a wonderful time. I've very much enjoyed it. I'm going to go now because we have overrun by 15 minutes, so I'm going to go and make myself some tea. And I'll see you tomorrow and or on Monday. Bye-bye, everyone.